What's good, people? Uncle Hotep back at it again. How y'all doing? Why did Biloxi pull To Kill a Mockingbird for an 8th grade lesson plan? Now, you know, To Kill a Mockingbird is a movie. I think it was Gregory Peck. It won a whole bunch of awards. As a matter of fact, I think I read that when I was in school, To Kill a Mockingbird. You know, it dealt with down south. Hold on. Let me just go to the Wikipedia. Let's go to the Wikipedia. Oh, y'all can't see this, but anyway, I'm gonna read it. You know, the story takes place during the years 1933 to 35, the Great Depression, in the fictional tired old town of Macomb, Alabama, the seat of Macomb County. It focuses on a 6-year-old Jean Louise Finch, nicknamed Scott, who lives with his older brother Jeremy, nicknamed Jed, and their widowed father Atticus, a middle-aged lawyer. Jem and Scott befriend a boy named Dill, who visits Macomb to stay with his aunt each summer. 3 children are terrified yet fascinated by their neighbor, the reclusive Arthur Boo Radley. The adults of Macomb are hesitant to talk about Boo, and few of them have seen him for many years. The children feed one another's imagination with rumors about his appearance and reasons for remaining hidden. And they fantasize about how to get him out of his house. After 2 summers of friendship with Dill, Scott, and Jem, find that someone leaves them small gifts in a tree outside the Radley place. Several times, the mysterious Boo makes gestures of affection to the children, but to their disappointment, he never appears in person. Judge Taylor appoints Atticus to defend Tom Robinson, a black man who has been accused of raping a white woman, Mayella Ewell. Although many of the Macomb citizens disapprove, Atticus agrees to defend Tom to the best of his ability. Other children taunt Jem and Scott for Atticus's actions, calling him N-word lover. You know, I can't say it on YouTube. Scott is tempted to stand up for her father's honor by fighting, even though he has told her not to. Atticus faces a group of men intent on lynching Tom. This danger is averted when Scott, Jem, and Dill shame the mob into dispersing by forcing them to view the situation from Atticus and Tom's perspective. Atticus does not want Jem and Scott to be present at Tom Robinson's trial. No seat is available on the main floor, so by invitation of Reverend Sykes, Jem, Scott, and Dill watch from the colored balcony. Colored. Atticus establishes that the accusers Mayella and her father, Bob Ewell, the town drunk, are lying. It also becomes clear that the friendless Mayella made sexual advances towards Tom, and that her father called her and beat her. Despite significant evidence of Tom's innocence, the jury convicts him. Jem's faith in justice becomes badly shaken, as is Atticus, when the helpless Tom is shot and killed while trying to escape from prison. Despite Tom's conviction, Bob Ewell is humiliated by the events of the trial. Atticus explained that he destroyed Ewell's last shred of credibility at the trial. Ewell vows revenge, spitting in Atticus' face, trying to break into the judge's house and menacing Tom Robinson's widow. Finally, he attacks defenseless Jem and Scott when they walk home on a dark after-school Halloween pageant. Jem suffers a broken arm in the struggle, but amid the confusion, someone comes to the children's rescue. The mysterious man carries Jem home, where Scott realizes that it's Boo Radley. Sheriff arrives and discovers that Bob has died during the fight. Sheriff argues that Atticus about the prudence and ethics of charging Jem, whom Atticus believes to be responsible, or Boo, who Tate believes to be responsible. Atticus eventually accepts the sheriff's story that Wolf simply fell on his own knife. Boo asks Scott to walk him home, and after she says goodbye to him at his front door, he disappears again. While standing on the Radley porch, Scott imagines life from Boo's perspective and regrets that he had never paid for the gifts he had given him. Scott then goes back home to Atticus and stays up with him for a while in Jem's room. Soon Atticus takes her to bed, tucks her in before leaving to go back to Jem. That's the plot summary from Wikipedia. Now, this school has banned, they've taken it out of the curriculum. Like I said, I read it when I was in school, and that's like a million years ago. Let me read the part where am I at? Oh, I'm on the wrong place. Sorry, people. I'm being amateur right here. Kenny Holloway, vice president of the Biloxi School Board, said there were complaints about it. There was some language in the book that makes people uncomfortable, and we can teach the same lesson with other books. Like, come on, man. Like, seriously, is that what we're doing? The N-word is in the book. We got to take it out. We can't read it anymore. I don't know who did the complaining about. This is why I made the video. I'm not sure who made the. Well, when I was in school, I remember African Americans, the Akatas, the Shines, they had to read. I think it was Tom Sawyer or Huck Finn or whatever. Which one of them Mark Twain books. And Shines was running around talking about the book is racist because they had the N-word. It's always this distinct possibility that, black folks was like, oh, why are you reading Mark Twain? It has the N-word in, Kill a Mockingbird has the N-word in. We're not reading this. You know what I mean? But, come on. Like, on one hand, the Shine, the Akata will say that we're living in white supremacist, world, and you'll say that there's inequalities in the justice system, which I believe there are some inequalities in the justice system, and some people get railroaded. Just like this person got railroaded in this fictional tale. So, if you're saying this is so prevalent today, and what I'm saying is not as prevalent as it was back then. Is there some people that get wrongly accused and convicted? Of course there is. I'm not even gonna sit there and lie to y'all and say it doesn't. I'm not one of them guys. But the way the media portrays it, you would think it happens all the time, which it really doesn't. One time doing it is way too much. Just one wrongly convicted person is way too much. You know what I mean? But the media is making it seem like it's like you go to jail, you get locked up. I mean, they're locking just left and right. Innocent black folk just getting locked up. That's the way the media portrays it. But knowing this, why would black folks be like, hey man, we can't read this book because there's the N-word in it? Like, come on, man. That doesn't make. This is American classic. You know what I mean? This is like world renowned. Let me just read some of the receptions from it, man. Wait. Where is it? Honors. This was on when it was in its 41st week on the bestseller list. It was awarded the Pulitzer Prize. It's a classic material. Everybody should read it. You know what I mean? The Sun Herald. This is a concerned reader sent this in. Sun Herald received an email from the concerned reader who said the decision was made mid lesson plan. Like they was already in it. The students will not be allowed to finish. Somebody complained a complaint while they was reading it. The students was already reading it. The students will not be allowed to finish the reading of the Killing Mockingbird due to the use of the N-word. Like, I know you're not just reading it out loud. Nobody does that anymore. You go read it and you talk about what happened. The reader said, I think is one of the disturbing examples of censorship I have ever heard. And that the themes in the story humanize all people regardless of social status, education level, intellect, and of course race. It would be difficult to find a time when it is more relevant than days like these. That's crazy. They're a mid-lesson plan. There are 18 million copies in print and translated into 10 languages. The plot deals with rape and racial inequality in a small southern town. The events and characters loosely based on author Harper Lee's observation of an event that happened near her hometown of Monroeville, Alabama in the 1930s when she was young. Monroeville has recently looked at ways to develop new attraction and draw more tourists based on its association with the book. The book is so hot. It's such a classic that the town that is loosely based on is eating off of it. And yet here we go. We're taking it out of the schools and they can't read it because it has the N-word. As much... How can you sit there and say this? How can this sit there and be done? How can this censorship be actually done? Like, can we ban the Migos? Can we ban Cardi B? I mean, you all want to ban it from reading it, but you'll let your kids listen to these songs that have these same words in it. Does that make any sense to you? It doesn't make sense to me. And it shouldn't make sense to you. That person that emailed, it makes perfect sense. If you're saying this is such relevant in today, then it's perfect. It's a perfect book for read to today's climate and what you say. Even though I think today's climate is vastly overblown by the media, but come on, people. To Killing Mockingbird? I mean, it should be real. I'm waiting for them to redo the movie. You know what I mean? I mean, they must have some block on it. I'm waiting for them to redo A Killing Mockingbird in like the current days. You see what I'm saying? That's a shame. This is a shame. This is outrageous, man. And the people of Biloxi, man, y'all should be ashamed of yourselves. And whoever did it, you know what I mean, y'all should, if it, you know what I mean, I have a feeling it was you Shines, and y'all should be ashamed of yourselves, man. Because I know damn well the parents said, hey, we don't want to read this because it has the N-word in it. I guarantee you, you know, when it comes to the music you let your children listen to, it has them words all in it. Worse, way times worse. You know, I think, and this is a lot of time. I was reading a thread on the college. Shouts out to them. You know, why Waka Flocka is claiming Native American. You know, a lot of times, man, it seems like some black folks don't want to. They're ashamed of the past for some reason. You know, and I'm like. And the past in America. I mean, I'm like, why? You know what I mean? I look at it as, I'm just going to give my perspective. I'm like, you know, and you know, my mother had told me this story about, you know, my childhood, the things that happened in my childhood. You got to use them. Sometimes you got to use those situations to toughen yourself up, man. You have an advantage. You have to use it for your betterment. Even though you might have had terrible things happen in your life, the fact that you survived those things makes you a tougher person. You know what I mean? And this is how I think some blacks should look at, you know, things like slavery and some things like the Jim Crow era and things like the events like, you know, this is fictional event, but, you know, it had based on stuff that actually happened. You know what I mean? But the events of this nature. And I think sometimes, you know, when that word was used more frequently, you know what I mean, and, you know, black folks is, oh, man, I don't want to listen to this. It takes me back, and I don't want to hear it. It gets me upset. No, it shouldn't get you upset. It makes you proud because you dealt with all this and you're still here. You know what I'm saying? Some of y'all is doing way better than everybody else. I'm not doing bad myself. You know what I mean? I feel, you know what I mean? You should be proud of that. And your ancestors survived some tough times, and only tough people survive tough times. Some people couldn't survive. You could almost say other people's couldn't survive. You know what I mean? So give some credit to your ancestors for surviving those tough times and not trying to hide from it. We should bask in it because that made us who we are today. It's Uncle Hotep. Peace.